Hey everyone, John from Beyond ARTV. It's time for a thinking out loud styled video with minimal cuts. I just want to sit down and talk with you guys about a topic that has been on my mind, and it's not just because I have some sort of invested interest in the people in it. They're both celebrities, but there's both a lot that goes into it and also a lot that I feel I want to say, so I'll probably throw a lot of stuff on screen to just hide the fact that I'm here staring off into space. So I want to talk about Ariana Grande and Pete Davidson. Obviously, you probably know at this point that they are no longer together, but there are probably a lot of factors that go into it, and I also kind of want to talk about what I feel to be kind of something that goes into it that I think a lot of people aren't thinking about, and that's the fact that these are actually people, and everybody is picking it apart and saying, you know, either things as stupid as love is dead, or they didn't make it because of this, or they're trying to put together all of these different theories on what exactly happened, or why Ariana would leave him, or if the ring is still there, or what's going on. And I honestly feel, even though this might be repetitive, and I'm sure obviously people have touched on it before, I feel like I have to put it back out there again that these are actually human beings, and these are obviously people who are struggling with a lot of shit that we don't even comprehend because we're not in that situation and we weren't close to these people. So I will start with Pete Davidson's side of things because I think it'll probably be, I guess, a little bit easier to talk about. Not that it's an easy subject whatsoever, but Pete Davidson was diagnosed with BPD, which is borderline personality disorder. It's something that started in September, I believe, of 2017, maybe even the year before. He was a weed smoker, and it's something that he thought was influencing him, and he was having these fits of rage, these almost blackout modes that he was going into, and he ended up getting diagnosed as a result of that. At first they thought he was just bipolar, but then it came out that he actually had an underlying mental health disease. This is something that was so incredibly scary for him, but it was also, I think, nice to have kind of a diagnosis on it, and I think he masks a lot of what he does in comedy. And at the core of it all, he seems like a very likable person, and I think that Ariana fans relentlessly going after him right now, it's completely uncalled for. We do not know the situation, the details, anything like that at this time, nor should we. In fact, I hope we never know, because some things should stay private. And on Ariana's side of the fence, we have her former lover, her former flame, Mac Miller, taking his own life accidentally, I believe, due to an overdose earlier this year. It's something where he was probably at a very low point. He had been struggling. He had been open about his struggles. He had a record called Swimming that came out and talked about a lot of his struggles very, very openly. And it's an album that I found to be particularly impacting. And I also thought that maybe he was on the upswing due to some of the subject matter, some of the lyrical content on the record. But unfortunately, it did not pan out that way. And due to an accident that he did not mean, I don't think, for it to happen, he's no longer with us, and that's something that I'm sure had to have shaken him, stirred him to his core, like the fact that, you know, he lost everything, he was kind of letting himself go, he was getting drinking and driving tickets, and obviously Ariana had moved on to somebody else, and he thought that she was getting married, and then he's no longer with us on the planet. And then Ariana, looking back on that, obviously heartbroken, torn to pieces, probably world shattered over something like that, because you care for someone so deeply, and despite the fact that you may no longer be in a relationship with them, that doesn't mean that you don't care about that person. And I feel like so many people were so disrespectful during Mac Miller's death, just referring to him as Ariana's ex or something like that. They applied that little tagline thinking it was as simple as that. But at the core, you've got two people, celebrity or not, strip away all of the lights and the flashing cameras and all of the fame, and you have two people who might be famous, but they are human beings. And they were just, I feel, treated like a circus show. That's nothing new. But in this day and age, I feel like we need to get to a point where we're not just hounding these celebs like this. We're not pushing people over the bridge to share more than they should ever have to share. I know that I should not share more than I want to share, like whether it be my relationship or friendships or whatever is in the world. I should not feel compelled to have to share something just because my fans, my viewers might ask for it. But imagine me on like times 1,000,000, and that's what Ariana, Mac Miller, and Pete Davidson have all dealt with. And I think it's probably something that was very tough on especially both of the parties that are going through this breakup now, because Pete is very much more so in the public eye than ever, not only because of his gig on Saturday Night Live, but also because of the fact that he is now the ex of Ariana Grande, and the ring was returned, and she's keeping the pet pig, all of these other things. I think that sites like TMZ make it sound so trivial. Obviously, once again, I cannot change what TMZ do. Obviously, they provide a lot of information that a lot of people consume, and I'd be lying if I didn't consume the information too, because I like to know what's going on. But also, they overstep boundaries, and I feel, kind of push things, and it's nothing that's probably going to change anytime soon, but still, just kind of putting it out there, how fucked up it is sometimes, especially that places like TMZ just push people, especially right after deaths, and they're trying to get a comment or they're trying to get a statement. It's like, what do you want from these people? Like, what do you want me to say? My world is in pieces. Like, I'm obviously shattered. I have just lost somebody that meant the world to me. And I'm referring to, like, Ariana being pressed for comments after Mac Miller's passing. And now people coming after Pete Davidson and coming after Ariana, both trying to take down both parties and trying to find something and trying to find clues as to what it was. And there's all these insider reports now of, oh, this was a long time coming, the breakup was coming, and it may have been triggered by Mac's passing. And I'm sure that it was. I'm sure that that probably did play into that. And I'm sure that that definitely had an effect on both of them, because obviously Pete probably still wanted to be there for her during this hard time. But to even put yourself in those shoes, it's pretty much impossible unless you had also been in a relationship with that person and loved them and cared for them. And I think that probably what happened is Ariana put the brakes on and said, it's time to reflect on life. And I think that probably Pete respected that, and he seems like he's doing okay from what I've seen on SNL and everything like that. But, you know, people cope with things in different ways, and I think we just need to take a step back and look at it from that angle. I don't know if I added anything to the conversation with this, anything of worth or of merit, but at the core of it all, I think I just want to put the reminder out there that despite the fact that, oh, maybe they did get together too soon, which I still stand by. I think that getting engaged after only a couple of weeks together, it's stupid, but again, not my life, and they didn't end up getting married anyways. But despite all of that, at the core of it, there were two human beings who were going through something terrible, and Ariana in general already just suffering from PTSD after the attacks at her concert in Manchester in 2017. It's been a really rough year and a half, so I would say pump the fucking brakes, give the people a break, and let them get out of the spotlight for a while. That's just my 2 cents, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Thinking Out Loud. I guess leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it, and if you want to see anything else, any other topics that you'd like to see me discuss, then drop a comment down below. Other than that, I will see you soon for more right here on Beyond ARTV.